So my top 10, I threw it out there. I'll just ask you this. Who is your best team in the league this morning? Your number one team. They can play multiple ways, beat you multiple ways.
I would say my number one team this morning, right now, today, is exactly the number one team that you have, Tampa Bay. And, Colin, when I picked them to go to the Super Bowl in early September, the reaction was, oh, you're in bed with Brady. You're doing this all because of Brady. I said, did you see the way Tampa Bay ended the year last year? They won 4 in a row, and in their last 2 games, Jameis Winston handed both of them away. Threw 6 interceptions in the last 2, and they lost 2 games they should have won. They should have ended last year 9-7 and ended the year on a 6-game winning streak. They didn't. And Brady comes in. The one thing you know is he's not going to be as explosive downfield as Jameis Winston, but he's going to take care of the football. And for the most part, he's done that. He's had a couple of pick sixes, but for the most part, he's done that. Colin, I love your number 2 team. You talked about Ryan Tannehill. I wrote a column this week, and everybody, sometimes you have to change your opinion about players if you're being honest.
Yeah.
If you're not being honest, you can say, Ryan Tannehill, he's the 18th best quarterback in football. Eventually, he'll get you beat. Hey, look, since opening day 2019, there's a stat in the NFL that offensive coaches love, okay? And that is yards per attempt. And that tells coaches he's willing to throw the ball down the field. He is not just willing to dink and dunk. He's okay throwing it downfield, and you got to complete it downfield. Yards per attempt. Today, Ryan Tannehill is 9.0, and he is 0.7 of a yard better than any quarterback in football since opening day 2019.
Yep.
And Colin, this is a great anniversary. Today is the 1-year anniversary of Ryan Tannehill taking the starting job and starting his first game in Tennessee against the Chargers. And they are 12-3 in the regular season since, and 2-1 went on that great playoff run.
And they still feel like an underdog, which is what I love about it. We are all ignoring them because sometimes they're not, they're not flashy offensively, but I got to tell you, that's a team Kansas City doesn't want to play in the playoffs. So I want to talk about Green Bay. There are some times, and I love your point about Tannehill, sometimes you just have to admit you're wrong. I have on Tannehill. There's also times when I can't unsee something. And I've seen Green Bay's last 5 losses. They have been crushed against physical teams. Tampa's defense, San Francisco, Chargers, Philadelphia, and Lambeau. I can't unsee that, Peter. They are a great front-runner team. They lead, they're comfortable. But when you get in the octagon with these guys and it gets into an ugly push-pull, Aaron's getting hit, Peter, they're not the same team. I watched them Sunday, and I'm like, it's getting cold out here. This is real power football. That was not just a loss for me with Green Bay. It was a loss coupled on 4 last year. There's something up about this team against physical teams, is there not?
I can see you saying that, Colin, but I watched that game, and, I see it slightly different, okay? And I watched that game, and I think, great quarterbacks, are usually able to get past an interception or to have a short memory about that. I think Aaron Rodgers was really affected by the Jamel Dean pick 6 because remember where we were in the game. It was early in the second quarter. The Packers were dominating them. The Bucs failed on their first 2 series, and now Green Bay's got the ball again. And you think in 5 minutes it's going to be 17-0, and this game is over.
Yep.
That Jamel Dean interception is the play of the first 6 weeks of the season. It turned the tide, and it showed that the Packers are mortal. Now, as far as the physical part of it, I think there is something to that. But I also think that when Green Bay has a healthy offensive line and they're playing all their guys, I think they can be pretty physical. I think Aaron Jones, the back, can be a physical running back. But, hey, look, it is what it is. I mean, they got really knocked around by the Bucs. The last 2 times they played the 49ers, they've gotten embarrassed in both games. So that is something that they've got to prove they can do if you think this team is going to win a Super Bowl.
You know, I was saying what makes a great friend, I could argue makes a bad owner. A great friend is fun and he's loyal. A great owner is serious and sometimes has to get rid of players he loves because he just can't pay them. Jerry is a great friend, but I watch this organization. You know, drafting CeeDee Lamb was fun. It wasn't the right move. Paying Jalen Smith early was emotional. That's what a good friend does because they got him in the second round. They felt good about it. It was a good pick by Jerry. But right now, he's not worth that money. And DeMarcus Lawrence, Jerry is loyal. He is fun. He is a good friend. But, boy, Bob Kraft, he'll let Belichick. They get let go a year early, never a year late. And I look at the Cowboys right now, and generally iconic brands can heal faster than other bad teams. They either attract stars or they can pay them with revenue. But I don't see a way out for Dallas. I just don't see it here. I think they're up against the cap. They're going to have to pay Dak. I mean, what's the pot of gold end of the rainbow? How do you solve this mess?
The way you solve it, I think, is going back to the same kind of meat and potatoes that made them pick Zach Martin over Johnny Manziel in the draft. That's what they have to do. They can't be emotional about their team right now. And they are playing right now without 3 of the 5 building blocks on your offensive line that made it the best line in football. And that's why if I were analyzing the Cowboys right now, I wouldn't go too crazy. They're incapable right now with the offensive line they put on the field. They're incapable of being a dominant team. But what happened in this game against Arizona is they came up against a speed quarterback who is really the most unique single player in football today. They couldn't stop him. But more importantly, they couldn't get anything going consistently on offense. And when they did, Ezekiel Elliott totally screwed it up. There is absolutely no excuse for what Ezekiel Elliott did last night. That was a shameful performance by him at a time when he has to lift his team. And good for him, at least he admitted it after the game. But you cannot fumble twice early in the game when you know your team desperately is relying on you.
So Tua's going to start for the Dolphins. Are you surprised that it happened this week? Fitzpatrick really playing well for them. How surprised are you? Why do you think they went with it?
In the last 3 days in sports, there have been 2 calls that to me have been exactly the same. One is Kevin Cash pulling Charlie Morton in the 6th inning when he's pitching a masterful game. And Kevin Cash went by the book. The book said Charlie Morton is lousy the 3rd time through a team's lineup. So Kevin Cash just didn't let him go there. He said, we've got pitchers who can get the last 10 outs of this game, and I trust them right now more than I trust Charlie Morton. Me, everybody else on Twitter is saying, what a lame brain decision. It worked. And I think similarly, right now, Brian Flores, even though he's beaten a good team, San Francisco, by 26, and then beaten a lousy team, the Jets, by 24 the last 2 weeks, he makes a quarterback change now because he sees that there is this finite ceiling with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They are 3-3 right now and have a chance to really turn around their season. He thinks that this right here is Tua Tagovailoa. That's why I haven't talked to him, but that's why I think he made this call right now.
You know, I want to go back and I'm not a big romanticizer of sports, but I want to talk about Kyler Murray. Is that I believe this to be true. It's probably true in your career. It's certainly true in mine that we all need a kingmaker, somebody that believes in us. Doug Flutie was a dominant high school and college player. He went to the Canadian Football League. He's one of their greatest players ever. He was 21-9 in Buffalo, but nobody ever believed in him. They were trying to run him out when he was winning. You can go to YouTube today. He was a spectacular talent. He won everywhere, but he never had a kingmaker. Even when he won in the NFL in Buffalo, they wanted Rob Johnson, the big chiseled USC. Kyler Murray has a kingmaker. I could look at Kyler Murray's stats. I'd say he's got 10 touchdowns and 6 picks. He's an 89, 90 quarterback rate. He was bad in the first quarter. But Cliff Kingsbury's like, no. This is my guy. And he's good. Sometimes it's inartistic. And I'm not saying that Doug Flutie is as good as Kyler Murray. But Doug Flutie was an 11th round pick, and nobody ever gave him a chance. And if he came out today with the success of Kyler and Russell, somebody would put their arms around Doug Flutie and go, this guy is a winner. What do you make of Kyler Murray? He reminds me of Flutie. The difference is this operation has said, we love him. We're going to be there when he grows and makes mistakes, and he makes plenty of them. And I just think it works. I think it's a fantastic experiment, and it works. Your thoughts?
There's a major difference between Flutie and Kyler Murray, and that is Kyler Murray probably right now would be a photo finish in a 40-yard dash with Tyreek Hill. And, Doug Flutie was mobile, and he was quick, and he could make people miss. He's not running a 4.28 40.
Yeah.
And again, maybe he's running a 4.45 40, which is good. I have no idea what he'd run in a 40. But what I'm saying is that last night, Colin, I was exhausted. I was up very late doing my column Sunday night, and I did not really want to stay up for the end of that game. And I didn't, but I stayed up till there was about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Normally, I would have been lucky to make it till halftime. Do you know why I stayed up? Not because I wanted to rain on the Cowboys parade or dance at their funeral, anything like that. It was because Kyler Murray is just damn exciting.
Yeah.
And he's so fun to watch. And he is the best runner as a quarterback I have ever seen. He's almost in any particular situation, he can leave the backfield and get 8 yards because he's just so hard to predict where he's going to go and to catch him. I am fascinated by Kyler Murray, but you don't want to make a living running all the time.
Right.
But to me, I think he is tremendously fun. And I'm buying Kyler Murray stock right now.
Yeah, there is some value in the fact that he brings a juice to an operation in Arizona that hasn't had a ton, and he brings an energy and a juice, and he's marketable, and that matters. And for a team like that, that absolutely matters. Peter King, NBCSports.com. Great seeing you. Great column this week, Peter.
Thank you, Colin.
All right, we got a lot of stuff. Alex Rodriguez is going to stop by today. Dodgers World Series Rays. This is hopefully one for the ages here. This Dodger team does not trust their bullpen, which makes for high drama in any World Series. They got great players. They don't trust their bullpen. We'll talk about that. Every 26 seconds, there's a break-in this country. Every 26 seconds. Wow. Simply Safe Home Security protects your whole home around the clock. Serious lasting protection. Takes a simple 30 minutes to set up, does Simply Safe. Get a free security camera, too. Protect your home today. Award-winning arsenal of sensors and security cameras. Blanket every inch of your home. Set it up in 30 minutes. No tools, wiring, no technician, no salesperson. Simply Safe monitors your house around the clock. Security pros, case of emergency, sends help to your home. No contract, no installation cost, and no hidden fee. That's why U.S. News & World Report named Simply Safe the best overall home security of 2020. Right now, get a free security camera. A free security camera with it if you go to simplysafecolin.com, simplysafecolin.com. Also, a 60-day risk-free trial with any new system order. How's that? Nothing to lose. Free security camera. Go to simplysafecolin.com.